Hello guys, you're welcome to a new tutorial. Now this is me telling you hi, and I'm doing all the embellishments on the dress. This is the dress we are going to be learning how to make today. It's so fine and beautiful. If this video interests you, if this is what you want to learn how to make, kindly stay to the end of the tutorial. I used our last tutorial on shoulder dart to make this dress. It is very easy and beautiful. Let's get started. So all the fabric we'll be using: this zip, this mesh, paper gum, cotton essay, lining, then velvet. So this velvet will be the upper part, then the lace will be the down part. From our previous tutorial, if you've not watched that video, kindly watch it. I'll drop the link in the comment section or the description box, so you can check the link, then you watch it, then you can now come back to this. For those that have watched it, let's continue. So this is the bodies I'll be using for this design on the thumbnail. Now this is the front and this is the back. So we have both our front bodies and our back. So we are going to be modifying this now to get the shape we want, because we need a yoke. We need yoke for the front and the back. Let's start with the armhole. You can see I came down here by ½ inch because I want this armhole to have a little bit of ease, so I already connected it here. So for the back, I'm going to do the back as well. So if your armhole is a bit tight, you can come down by 0.25 or ½ inch. So I need ½ inch. So I'll connect it to the across chest measurement over here. Okay, so after getting this ease, I'm going to be cutting it off. So let's cut it off then before we start all that things. So I've cut off for the front, then I'm also cutting off, for the back, then I'm cutting for the front as well. So let's start with the front. So I'll be dropping this. This pattern is for the bodies of the clients I'm making dress for. Now the first thing is to connect from here. From this, I'll be connecting it to this breast point. So I'm using my curve ruler to just connect the curve that way. So this is how it is for the front yoke. Now from your armhole here, I'll come down by 5 or by 4.5. So let's say I am coming down by 4.5. This is a 4.5. Then the neck depth, the depth of what I want, I will do 9.5. 9.5 is okay. So I'll connect from here to here. Now before I connect, I'll close the shoulder dart. So you're going to close the shoulder dart, and you take your curve ruler, or you can use your free hand. Then you're going to be connecting it this way. So you connect like this. Now this is your front yoke. If you feel the yoke is too high, you can come down more. Let's do 10. From here I have 9.5. I will do, let me do 10 inches. So I'll just close it again, and I'm going to come down and mark 10. This is our new neck depth. I did 3 by 3, but I want to increase the width. I want to make it 4 inches. We have 3 here already. I'm going to make it 4. So I'll just be adding 1 inch to it. So I'll connect from this now to this. That becomes our new neckline, our new round neck for the yoke neck. This is the depth. This is the yoke neck. I'm going to be increasing the back neck, the back neck width as well. So for the back, I'm going to add 1 inch to it, making 4. Now if you want your back to be deep, you can decide to come down. I want to do a keyhole for the back. So from this neck depth of 1 inch, I'm going to come down by 1.5. I'll connect from here to here. For the back yoke, we came down by 4.5. From here we came down by 4.5. So also here you also do the same thing. You come down by 4.5. You can decide to use your chest line, or from your chest line you can come up. So from the chest line I'm going to be coming up by 2 inches. So you connect from here to here, or let's do 1.5. So let me mark 1.5, then I'll connect it. So I'll connect it this way. Now guys, this back dart, I will extend this line upward because I want to tighten the back a little. You extend it upward, then on both sides here you're going to mark 0.25 here, then you mark 0.25 here, then you connect from here all the way to the that leg here. So you're going to connect like this. You're going to connect it to this 1.5 inch here. So that becomes your back keyhole. Just extend this 1 inch into the zip allowance. Extend it into the zip allowance. For the back as well, you do the same thing. So let me cut it off. Yoke. Now, on this part, here have to be a straight line. So extend it into the zip. So you go like this. Then you follow your back into the yoke, into the back yoke. Then I'm going to remove the keyhole. So your keyhole, you can decide to do 2 inches, or you do 4. If you want to put plenty buttons, you can do 4 inches. Then you connect here. It depends on your preference, like what you want. So this is off. Now this dart is off. So this is our back. This is how your back is now. So your back is like this. Now for the front, so I'm going to be cutting off the neckline as well. Now I'm going to be closing this dart with my tape. Okay, so let me cut off the yoke. So this is the front yoke. I'm slashing the middle to the breast point so that here can be balanced. Then I'm cutting off the darts. Okay. This is the center front. So you're cutting this on fold. I'll be using the breast, a cup for this tutorial. You can decide to use a cup, or you can decide not to use a cup. So if you're not using a cup, from the under bust, you're just going to be cutting if it's ST you're using, or if it's wadding, just cut it up to this so that you can accommodate your breast. You cut like this to this part. Then here also you cut. This is our front bodies. To tighten the over bust here, you minus ½ inch. I did not know my video was not playing, so this was how it is. This was how it was. From here to here was ½ inch. Then I connected it to the breast point and I cut it off. This is just to tighten the over bust. This is the front yoke and this is the back yoke. Now this was what I did. I placed it on a straight line like this. Then I connect it from the shoulder. Since there's no shoulder joining, it just gum it together. When I gum it together, here became slanted a bit. So whatever excess, whatever shortage that I have here, I just added it on this point and on this point. Just shear it So now what I also did was to just reduce this zip allowance here, because we are not putting a zip. It's we are just putting, we're just going to be putting loop, maybe two loop. I'm minusing half inch from this. I'm going to minus half inch because I'll be using the half inch to sew it. When you fold it into 4 and you cut, you end up having 2 yoke. You end up having 2 yoke. So this is the yoke. This was how it was after cutting. This is it. So yep, I only added small allowance, just 0.25 sewing allowance. Now we are done with the yoke. I'll drop this aside. Then I went ahead to also cut the sleeve. The sleeve length is 22 inches. You all know how to cut sleeve. And I also doubled the sleeve. So each sleeve is 2. I doubled it so that I can turn it so that the sleeve will be thick. So I cut 4 pieces for the 2 sleeve. I'll also keep this. Now for the pattern, I've gone ahead to cut them on the material. I told you I'll be adding allowance. Despite the fact that I added 1 inch, I added 1.5 extra. So the sewing allowance for this tutorial is 2.5. Then on the center front, I added half inch sewing allowance. Then I added 0.25 here. I don't want much allowance here. So that was what I did. I added the same 0.25 here. Then on this part, half inch sewing allowance. Then for the back also, this part, half inch sewing allowance. On the upper part here, 0.25. So I added the sewing allowance also to the back pattern. Now this is the back. This is the zip allowance. I added half inch here, then 0.25 on this part. Now I want to do something. I want to reduce the zip allowance just by half inch here so that we can eliminate any zip bulge. Half inch on this part. Yeah, on this part. Or you can minus 0.75 or half inch. So let me minus 0.75. Whatever you minus on the down part here, when you are cutting your skirt part, also minus 0.75 on it so that we can have a snatched waist. So I'm going to be connecting it up here like this so that my back pattern will be very snatched. And if you know you cannot still maneuver it, leave your zip allowance like that on the 1 inch. Leave it that way and still sew it. We are done with all this. I also went ahead to cut it on the lining. Then on the lining, I infused it with a paper gum, while on the main fabric, I fused it with cotton essay. Because it's a velvet, it is advisable for you to gum it with cotton essay. That way, anything stretchy, it just kills the stretchiness. Now we will start by sewing. The first thing is for you to take your center piece. So can you see the way I said it is not stretching at all because I use cotton essay. So I'm going to open it this way. Then I'll take the front side. So you're going to place it like this. And I'll be sewing from here to here. I'll sew with half inch. Then you take the second side. You place it this way. And I'm also going to be sewing with half inch. I am using this cup. So because I am using a cup, I am not padding it. I have a tutorial on how to pad your bustier. How to pad your bustier with your paper gum and essay. So you can check my channel and check for how to pad your bustier. So you do that for this, but I am not doing that. I'm going to be using a cup. So I'm going to place this on this side and I'll sew with half inch. I'll place this one on here and I'll also sew with half inch. So I'll sew this also. Then I'll repeat the process for the lining. So let me go and sew. Then I'll come back and show you guys. I'm notching it. Notch the underbust as well. I'm going to be using this. After ironing all the seam open, I'm going to be using the stay to just cover the seam. I'll cover it up to the underbust alone. When it gets to the underbust, I'll stop. So I'll do that for the second one. I'll do that for this, but I'm not doing it for the back pattern, just the front piece. Can you see? After I ironed it, this is how the inside look like. I'll be attaching the cup to the lining, not on the fabric. I notch the underbust. Now you are going to sew it this way. It's going to be like this, so that when the clients wear it, it will come up like this. Yeah, so instead of you facing it like this, you're actually facing, this is the inside. You place it like this, and you now locate the underbust. That's why it's important for you to notch the underbust. Locate the underbust. Make sure your cup goes in that way. So you can pin it. When you pin, it's either you sew it round or you tack it, like you sew here, and you sew here. It depends on what you want to do. Pin the underbust. You're going to pin this. Now you repeat for this side. So I have also notch here. So I'll sew these guys, then let me drop this. We are going to be sewing the yoke now. So you're going to take a matching thread. You will take a matching thread. And guys, there's another tip. When you are sewing, when you are ironing your velvet, always use hard net. Place hard net on it and you iron. That way you don't have any rough parts. You can see that my velvet is very clean and very neat. Also, when you are using your cotton estate to gum it, you will also use your hard net. You place your hard net on it and you gum. It doesn't stick to your iron. Now you place it on each other. So guys, I'm going to be using the satin, the bridal satin, for the lace, the one we put inside the lace. I'm going to be using this one as the loop. So this is it. I'll fold it like this, and I'm going to sew it. After sewing, I'll use my broom to bring it out. So let me do that. I sew this part and this part, so I'll be turning it. So just take the broom and you put it inside. It is very easy. It is not difficult. And you start turning. So you can give it a good press. You're going to sew with 0.25. When you get here, you're going to put your loop inside. You cut like this, and you also, so you place this one on it. You place this one on it. So you sew like this, then you continue to the neckline all the way to the second hole here. Then this one you close it with 1/2 inch, then you continue to the other neckline. So guys, this is the yoke. I've gone ahead to sew the neckline. When I sew, I turn it over, then I just use my stitch to just sew on this like this, so that everything can stay in place. So you're going to take your front piece, and for you to have very easy, for you to be able to sew this very well, you just notch the mesh. Just notch it. Yes, so you can see I've notched it. Then you place it at the middle. Let it come out a bit. You place it like so, and you pin it down. So when you pin, it gives you easy access for you to be able to tilt it a bit to this other side. So you're going to start. So you can as well pin everything down before you sew. But if you know you can sew it that way, you can do that. So it's going to be like this. Then you are going to do the same thing for the back side. Let's say it is like this. Take it like this. Sew the mesh to the front and the back piece. Then I will come back and show you guys. After sewing the mesh to the fabric, this is how it is. I just use a pin to hold the keyhole together, just for you guys to see how it is. I'm going to be putting the sewing allowance. I'll sew this, it will be 1. I'm going to sew the lining. also to be one piece. Then before I join it to this, that is what I'm going to be doing. So I'll mark the seam allowance on this side. It was 2.5 inch seam allowance I added, so I'm going to mark the allowance here. I'll also mark on the back part. I will also mark on the lining. This is how it is, and I've also ironed it. This is it from the inside, and I've also done the same thing for the lining. We are going to be using the lining now to turn the actual fabric. So you're going to place it on each other, right side to right side. Then you take your mesh, you push it inward, and you're going to match the center of the lining and the center of the actual fabric together. And you also pin all the way to the end here. You sew it. You do that for this other side. You sew it. Then you come to the back. You're going to come to the back, and you're also going to be sewing the back. So you push the mesh inside and you place the back on it. We have our zip allowance here, so you sew from the zip allowance, you sew with 1/2 inch all the way to this part. You repeat the same thing for the other side of the back. So mates, this is it. We've turned the neckline, the back, and this is the front. So you can see how neat it is. You can see how neat it is. Now the next thing to do is going to be attaching the skirt part to this. Then I'll attach the lining also to this. This is the lace. I've joined it together. I joined the same way I joined this was the same way I joined the lace. I joined all the lace together, and I also joined all the lining together. I joined all the lining together with one piece, then the lace also one piece. So I'm going to be placing the lace on this. You make sure the center part matches. So I'll place it, then look at our side seam is also matching together. Then I will sew till the end. Now the zip also is also matching together. So I'll do that for this other side as well. Then for the lining piece, I'm also going to join the lining to it also. Guys, so I've joined the upper borders to the lace, to the down part, and I have also joined the lining to it. Now you can decide to just leave it that way, separate lining and separate lace, that's the edge, and you just fold here, into two. You sew it round. I've done a tutorial on how to use your lining to turn your lace without it affecting your lace edge. So what I will just do is I'm just going to take it this way, sew it like this. I'll sew it round all the way to the other side. That way I am turning the lining with the lace. So guys, this is the down part. I told you I'm going to use the lining to turn it. So after turning it, now I'll be bringing it out from the zip. That is why I did not sew the zip, so that it will be easy for me. I can as well seal the zip as well, but I don't want to go through that route. So I'm bringing it out from the zip side. This is how it is. I don't know if my camera, if you are seeing everything. Can you see it? Can you see all the edges? So at every angle, at every seam, it is like this. At every point, it is like this. For this zip side, I will just join these two lining and the fabric together. I will sew it and I will weave it for this side and the other side. Look at it. I had to sew it down together, and I tried weaving it, but man, this sequence is breaking my needle. So I'm just going to be leaving it like this. So I did the same thing for the other side. Since I already have my zip line, so I'm going to fold it this way. This is the zip I'll be using. So I'll mark where I want the zip to get to. 1 inch after the hip. I have my hip line here, and I'm going to be going down 1 inch after the hip. So I will sew the zip up to this point. Now before I fix the zip, I am going to be sewing this part all the way down. I have my allowance, I have my crease line because I ironed the zip allowance, so I have it already. So I'm going to be sewing here all the way down. Then after that, I'll fix the zip from here to here. So let's do that. Look at how the back is to the hem. Can you see it? This is the inside. Everything is very neat on the inside. I'll fix a button here. I'm going to fix a button here. Then for the sleeve, I'm going to be fixing this sleeve. Now this sleeve, guys, I cut out trimmings from this lace and I just put the edge here, and I also put here. So I'll fold it like this and I will sew. Then I'm going to attach the sleeve. I did that as well for the second sleeve. Then I also have these trimmings that I cut out from the lace. I'm going to be playing with it. Maybe I'll just I'll just work with this and see how it will come out. So that is why I cut out all this. So guys, we are done with this tutorial. If you find this tutorial very helpful, kindly give me a like, subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so, and turn on the notification bell so that you get notified anytime I upload a new video. Thank you guys. I'll see you all in my next one. Bye.